Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and we are blessed again to be joined by Chaim and Batya Solomon. Chaim and Batya are longtime, I don't even know how to say it, teachers, beacons of light, very, very veteran Kabbalah Center staff members. I remember them from when I was a wee lass, and every time we get to have seasoned and outspoken Kabbalah teachers on the show, I get a little bit what's the word? Fangirl. I go into fangirl mode, but that's just me. The Weekly Energy Boost is your 7-day spiritual energy forecast. What we do is we try to glean from Kabbalistic texts like the Zohar the most powerful and practical advice, not only for this coming week, based upon what the Kabbalists teach about the energy, but really we make the effort to make these life lessons. And so, especially on a week where we'll be talking about relationships, I'm sure lots of ears are perked up and lots of eyes are open. We are very excited to share with you not only secrets and, of course, our years of experience, but also I think one of the greatest things that Kabbalah teaches about relationships, most of it is so opposite of what mainstream perception or advice, little Dr. Ruth in there. But we're not anti-Dr. Ruth, of course. I don't mean to say
I
it like
love
that.
Dr. Ruth.
We love Dr. Ruth. But the idea that relationships are not really what they seem to be, at least according to what society tells us. Very looking forward to hearing juicy nuggets from Chaim and Batya, and also sharing with you that we have the new moon of Pisces this week, so we want to give a little bit of insight about that. But first and foremost, I think it would be, I don't know which one of you wants to start, but I would love for you to share your how did you two get together story. I know it's a good one.
Okay.
I know it's a good one.
Go
That's
ahead,
why I'm
Batya.
asking.
No.
Go ahead,
I don't want
Batya.
to touch that one. You threw me a curveball. I didn't expect you to say that.
Well, a long time ago, Batya
long
was
time
a
ago.
student in Chaim's class. Let's
Yes.
start there.
Yes.
This is not Mad Libs. Fill in the blank.
Okay. Well, no, why don't you tell your version?
go ahead.
Oh, guys, we have a time
Yes, we have a
limit here.
time
Let's
limit.
go.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Ladies
long
first.
story short.
Yes.
One of the reasons why the topic of relationships is one of my favorite topics is I think because I learned the hard way by making all the mistakes that one can make and, paying for it in order to become much wiser about the whole thing. So let's just say that. Yes, I was a student in Kabbalah 1. And
Another plug for Kabbalah 1.
Yes,
if you are
Kabbalah
not already
1.
taking Kabbalah 1,
Yes.
you may meet your soulmate in class.
that's
so
what happened to me. If it happened to me, it can happen to you.
Find your local Kabbalah 1 starting
Exactly.
soon, or join us online and be part of a study group.
Exactly. So anyway, I went to Kabbalah 1. I was in a relationship, was engaged actually to somebody else when I came to the Kabbalah Center. Anyway, so I don't know how detailed we want to get with
Not
this.
but
Not too
It needs
detailed.
to be PG.
Yeah.
What?
It needs to be
PG.
PG.
Oh, PG. Aw. Anyway, so I saw Chaim. The first thing, it was almost something very like out of the Bible story of Isaac and Rebekah. He saw her, he married her, he loved her. Well, I saw him. I immediately was attracted to him. Then the second thing that I thought of was like he and I are from two different worlds. We have nothing in common. And then the third thought I had was, you're engaged to someone else. What are you looking at him for? And it was. I think I'll leave it at that. What is it that you specifically?
I think one of the beautiful messages for me from that story is it's usually not going to come from where you expect it.
Never.
Right.
Never.
Okay, so there you go. Let's start there.
Because usually, you figure before you come to Kabbalah, you're looking for the person that's going to complete you, that doesn't do what you do. You're looking like literally for your other half,
For what
which
you're
means you're
lacking.
already feeling a lack. And we know like will attract like. So if you're coming from lack, you're only going to attract lack. When you learn to come from greater wholeness, realizing who you are and what you've been given inside of you, then it's easier to attract in a relationship a person who's also more loving and caring and compassionate, etc. It doesn't mean you don't have correction to do, but you can do it together. all right, working together, supporting each other.
Well, that's I was looking at what do you call it when you read a book before it's released?
A book before it's released.
Thank you. The
preview.
blues. I was reading a pre-release copy
edit.
of Monica Berg's new book, and there was one phrase that I got from that I loved, and it is, "Become the one,
That you want.
find the one, become one." And it's kind of like, we really look for finding the one
Yes.
as the first step. And in a lot of the Kabbalistic teachings around relationships, the focus is so much more on you becoming,
Right.
you have to be ready. It's not, do I look okay? Am I on the right
Right.
dating app? Although those things may be part of what you need to do if that's part of your growth process. But the real work is inward. And that's something else I want to talk about today. I just wanted to get your story out there because I think there's it illustrates a lot of those.
There's a lot of
Kabbalistic
illustration
principles.
in that story,
Yes.
but I don't know how much we're going to share about.
Anywho, so what does it mean that this week's energy is, it's really asking us to focus on our relationships, whether we're we have a significant other or not yet, we can still be working on that
We all have a
relationship.
significant other.
And
I
this-
just want you to know you have a significant other as we speak, and that is your relationship with the Creator within you. And that is our primary relationship. It's the one that we least pay. We don't even know it exists, let alone nourish it in any way. And in this culture, we're so damaged in the way we raise our children and the way we've been raised about what is love, what is relationship, what's the purpose. I ask people, what's the purpose of marriage? People get married, they don't even know what the purpose of marriage or the purpose of having children. And it's really it's sad, and it's given today's records of the statistics of divorce in this country, it's frightening.
I read
wants
that,
to get married even?
the divorce rates are going down because people are marrying later.
Yes, I big fan of that. We married later. We didn't get married till what, 35, 36?
35, 36.
Yeah, don't try that at home. I'm just saying that's a
No, people
but-
also having kids later in life.
no, that's what we did too.
So this is my
Yeah.
point, that there's the mindfulness and the growth, right? Inevitably, with time, you will grow, whether you choose the growth or you resist the growth.
Right.
And I think that also may be a contributing factor to why people are putting, the end result, which used to be something that people were working on when they were 16 and 17 and 18
It's also because
already.
they used to die when they were 30 and 40. Now when people are living till 80, 90, 100,
Right.
So people it's feasible to be married to someone for 50, 60, 70 years.
Well, you brought up one of the points that I had written down for me as well, is having the light be your number one, the
Yes,
creator
the light
being
must
your
be
number
your
one.
number one.
There's when we teach classes about relationships, we often show that in a really strong relationship, there's actually three members.
That's right.
Me, my partner, and the light force of the creator.
Yes, exactly.
The challenge in having only one partner is that, no matter whether it's me or my partner, our energy is always going to be finite. Right? When I only have so much
right.
energy to give.
That's right.
I come home at the end of the day, both of us work. Sometimes it's, we're bouncing off the walls with energy. Once in a while, it's not like that. What do you do when I should ask this to the camera. What do you do when your significant other comes home and you've had a rough day? Give me a hug. Or, you wait to be refilled
Right.
with someone else's energy, attention, affirmation, acknowledgement, etc. Kabbalah teaches that you can do that with one another until both of you are dry, and then
Right.
where do you go? And that's really the reason why a lot of relationships deteriorate, is there's only so much energy to go around. Kabbalah teaches that even if it's only one of you, right? If one of you is looking at the light force of the Creator as source versus the other person as source, you've already got an infinite outlet of energy to nourish the relationship. I deal with a lot of students that only, one person in the relationship is on a spiritual journey. It's enough for one person to be on the spiritual journey. Not that having both isn't the ideal, but
Ideally, yeah.
that it only takes one person to turn on the light in a dark room, right?
That's
So
true.
no, if you're out there listening and you're saying, well, my significant other, my partner, I again gotten so many emails about this. They're clueless about spirituality. They're very this, that, and the other thing. What am I supposed to do? You be that beacon of light. You be that pipe in the plumbing that channels the light, that draws the light to your relationship and your family.
Well, if you think of, sorry.
No.
If you think about it, the light has to be the glue. If you take two people, like you said, each one with their finite energy, you have to put them together. If you take two pieces of paper and you just hold them together, they'll stay together or appear to as long as you hold them. But you glue them together, they'll stay together forever. So if we let the light of the Creator be the glue, then yes, we're still going to have differences of opinion. We're still going to have our perhaps arguments or what have you. But the glue of the light of the Creator will guide us in unity, even if it is, as you were saying, one person. That glue will hold both together, and they will be able to grow as people.
But let's be practical for a second. What does it mean to have the light in the relationship? What does it mean to have that relationship with the Creator come first? As a wife and a mom and a coworker, I have all these different hats that I play.
Right.
If I'm going to now, and obviously I'm being facetious when I say this, if I'm going to put God as my priority, who's going to feed the kids? Who's going to take them to school?
What's that mean to put God as your priority?
That's it.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, and spiritual practice is very important to have that me time, that alone time. Who am I? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What are my goals? What path am I on? And how the way I interpret it is that my relationship is with the light, right? That's my number one relationship. And this person I'm living with is a reflection. Our relationship is actually a reflection of my relationship with the light. So wherever I don't feel loved by the light, I'm going to experience it in that other person. Wherever I feel abandoned, hurt, not heard, etc. and so forth, and I want that other human being to fill that emptiness for me, rather than realizing, wait a minute, that's where I have disconnected myself from this all-loving source. Because if you're fulfilled, right, you only want to share with people. But when we're feeling empty, we just want to take from people.
The suckers come out.
And the relationship is going to reflect that. We learn in Kabbalah, for example, that two souls will make a contract in the upper world before they're even born. And they say, here's my garbage. This is what I'm working on. What have you got? Oh, yeah, I've got the other side of that. Let's work on it together. And so when we meet, in physical form, we're going to help each other with each other's garbage. Are we taught that? No, we're not taught that. We're taught like Cinderella. We're going to be rescued by happily ever
after. Or we're pressured from our family to find somebody quick and to settle for the wrong one just because what if there isn't another one? Right.
Yeah, because he makes a good living, or because, your looks are fading, or because, the biological clock.
Well,
all of these are coming from.
There's
and by the
innovations
way,
in that department.
I'm not. I can say for myself, I fell into that myself, that pressure for my family. My parents were from the old country. My mother used to tell me, may she rest in peace, and I'm not judging her for it. I mean, and that was her way of showing me love, and she's concerned for my future. She used to say to me, if you're not married by the time you're 22, you're going to be an old maid. This is my pressure. So,
thanks, Mom.
Luckily I'm Leo, rebellious. I don't care. I didn't, but my sisters fell for that. They both got married before they were 22. And they might be watching the show, so I'm going to leave that comment right there.
That's it.
I'm leaving that one on the table.
Love you. No, but I'm even thinking, I'm hearing what you're saying, and again, trying to balance juggle all those different balls in the air, parenting, working, being a spouse, a partner to somebody, trying to take care of myself, my spiritual connection. That's again where the being real with yourself comes in, right? For example, and I'll give you a very mundane, materialistic example, but we can apply that to other arenas. If you have a small child, a baby or a toddler at home, and they're your alarm clock, right? How do you make sure that you have your daily practice?
Right.
Your daily practice may have to be at 11 a.m. Or my go-to was always 9 p.m. Once the house is quieted down, I can have my setting intentions for tomorrow, studying, strengthening my own inner
Yes,
connection.
gotta have that.
And you know what? Okay, the second I open my eyes in the morning, it's nonstop for a couple hours, but at least I know I've sent energy to my tomorrow already.
Exactly.
And
I like
so
that.
there's a lot of people out there that might say, well, I can't meditate in the morning. By the time I get to my desk, it's noon or what.
Yeah, but
It doesn't have to be just meditation, by the way.
just
I
using it as
feed
an
my
example.
soul through classes on Kabbalah.com, for example, right? I read a book, from the Rav or Karen or Michael or, Monica. I read these books or, other sources that feed me and that give me, mostly the Zohar, that, when I read it, I feel fulfilled, and therefore I have what to share with my family.
Right.
Remember, being with the light doesn't mean that you're always sitting with the book or you're always learning or always watching things. It's like you go to the gym, or let's say not everyone goes to the gym.
Chaim goes to the gym.
Right.
Okay,
I always
one second.
tease David when he uses that example.
Yes.
That doesn't
So let's
apply
say-
to all of us.
So let's say it this way. You go to work, a person typically will go to work, let's say they work 8 hours, they make money. They take the money home and they use the money to pay their bills, to go out, to take their family, food, clothing, and shelter, etc. But they made the money in one place, then they took that and used it elsewhere. So the same way, we may have our spiritual practices. So let's say, like you say, a mother who has difficulty in the morning, but if yesterday, or like you said, 9 o'clock, she did her spiritual practices and energized herself and strengthened her spiritual muscles, then if the next day she can't get to that until 11 a.m., but she's got what she took the day before, she uses it, then she recharges and goes the next level, and then she uses it like we do with food. You eat a meal, it powers the body till the next time you need the energy, and then you do it again, but you're using the energy. So to have the light be your glue is to energize yourself and then apply that how you interact with your significant other, how you interact with your children, how you interact with your friends, everywhere you go. Because we're relating not only to our significant other or our family, but our coworkers, people we meet on the street, the clerk at the store. Everything is a relationship.
Right. And I'm going to use your metaphor of glue. If you're listening and saying, well, what does that mean about this week's energy? This week, the universe is giving out glue. This week, the universe is saying, what are the relationships that you have in your life that you need to nourish? It may first start with the creator, and probably not one of us on planet Earth doesn't need a little bit more nourishment in that area. That may mean, like, everybody, you may have something that you do that makes you feel more connected, more plugged in, more protected. Doing more of those things is only going to benefit every other relationship in your life, but also for the relationships in your life. This week, the universe is going to ask you, how can you draw more of that energy into this relationship? How can you ask for more support? I find that even when it comes to, I have a pack of children, and it's easier, I'm sure you guys can relate, serious conversations are easier with some of them than others.
Right.
So I find myself in the ones that it's less easy to talk with an open heart, asking for more glue.
Right, exactly.
Right? That's you're asking where is there more light, in the relationship where it's easy to talk, or the relationship where you recognize you need to grow and you ask for that support.
The
right?
purpose of the relationship is to grow, though. That's the purpose of the relationship.
I want to talk for a second about the institution of relationships, because I think that, when you ask somebody, why do you want to be in a relationship?
Exactly. Yeah. Why?
The answers often are very short term or very short-sighted, right?
Yes.
I want to have someone to do things with. I want to, even when
I don't want to be
feel
alone.
lonely.
even when a person says, I want to leave a legacy, usually that's ego-based. I want to be remembered. I want to leave my mark, right? It's not thinking in terms of soul and purpose and expansion.
Exactly.
So, when I first heard the whole idea of how relationships really mimic or are modeled on the relationship between the light and the like the endless world, and we maybe can't give every detail behind that story, but Kabbalah teaches that the way that the world began was out of this partnership, this I don't know
Giving
how
and receiving partnership.
it was two energy intelligences, two forces, that one was a giver and one was a receiver, and our ability to be in relationships in the physical world is simply the opportunity to emulate that.
And it's got to be a circuitry of that.
Okay.
Not one way.
Before we get to the circuitry, though, even the fact that a relationship is not an end. It's a means to an end.
Exactly.
That was the light bulb that went off for me because, again, as you said, people, the way that society or our ancestors treated a relationship, it was a destination, right?
It was about survival.
Oh, well, okay.
That's
That's
different.
far
on the
out in the
1%.
ancestry.
Yeah, yes.
Let's say in the last 50 to 100 years.
Right.
Right. But, I mean, you watched, again, Mrs. Maisel, right? All the parents want is for their daughter to be married and then they don't have
Right.
to worry anymore.
Right.
Realizing from its inception that relationships is simply an opportunity for us in the physical reality to be the creator,
Exactly.
to be the giver,
creator,
to
yes.
be the cause.
But it's modeled on our relationship with the Creator.
So I think that as bringing those two concepts together is really essential for understanding. Yeah, I want to be waited on hand and foot. Why should I be a giver?
Well, here's what happens in this society. Two people, they go to one of those meeting places or those meat markets, right? And they're all sniffing each other out to see what can this person do for me. And what am I willing to give in exchange? I give my looks, I give my money, or I give my status, or whatever, in order to get something to fill my need. And two people get together because they both want their needs filled. They start off with, let's say, a mercy account, a soul account, energy account, and it's not very long between they suck the whole energy out of that account. Now there's no energy in the account, and now the relationship has to disintegrate because of that, which is one of the reasons why we raised our children, and it's rare, and people like look at me shocked when I say these things. Raising our children, we discouraged our children from dating in their teenage years. And if you look on TV and the media, everything is about kids. So, oh, look how cute, they're 13, they're 14, they're girlfriends and boyfriends. All it is so damaging to the relationship, because in those primary formative years, we should be encouraging these young people to, as we tell them, develop yourself, establish yourself, know who you are, know what you want, know what your goals are in life. How can you now be busy with someone else when you yourself are not fully formed? Like the story of the person with the butterfly walking in the woods and he sees the cocoon. And this little creature is trying to, struggling to get out of the cocoon. A cocoon. That too.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, Freudian slip. The cocoon. And, that process, that squeezing process of going
struggle.
through it, the struggle to get out and to finally get to the completely released from the cocoon, that creature transforms now into a beautiful butterfly, right? It was a worm, now it's a caterpillar, now it's a butterfly, right? So when we're in our young years, our teenagers, we're like caterpillars. If we start now without knowing who we are, even if you're 30 and you still don't know who you are, that's a problem. And I would say a lot of that problem had to do because when we were younger, the focus, instead of being brought into me and my creator self, right? Who am I? What am I? What do I want to be? How do I want to develop myself? And, and when I feel whole and complete, that's the time to come together with someone else who's been working on themselves and they feel whole and complete. Do you ever feel completely whole and complete? No.
Because you're here to transform.
But there's some major work being done on a foundational level. And then you have a real great chance of two people coming together to build something really beautiful. But if one person's incomplete because they have been using that precious energy instead of investing it in themselves, it's been dispersed in these little relationships that cannot go anywhere. It cannot develop in your teenagers. Where's it going to go? Either someone's getting pregnant, or you're going to hit a wall where you are not in a position to take the relationship further. So it's going to end. And so we got our muscles, our relationship muscles have been trained to, there's a conflict, and there's a challenge, and now the person's 25, 30, wants to get married, and they have never developed those relationship muscles. They've always been kind of like the person who wants to help the caterpillar by ripping open the cocoon. And now that caterpillar, the butterfly, has now been damaged for life because it's not balanced. The body's not strong enough, right, for it to handle it. The wings can't fly, exactly. So I made mistakes. So I want to just let you know, for those of you saying, oh my God, what is she saying? I've screwed this up. You know what? I've screwed it up too. So don't worry about that. The most important thing is to realize where you are in the process right now and just get on track for yourself to ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? What are my goals in life? And what's my spiritual goal in life? Why am I on this planet? What are my passions? What are my visions? Where am I going? And then you're in a position to say to those other people you may be interviewing in your dating process, are you and I on the same path? Do we share the same values? Do we have the same paradigm about life? If we don't, then it's quickly, we don't have to waste 5-10 years being together to figure out, you know what, that we can't really build anything together. You need to know who you are and what you want to build, and then you find someone who wants to be on that same path with you.
I think it was Karen I first heard it from years ago. A spiritual relationship is not two people looking at each other, but two people together looking in the same direction.
Yeah.
Moving forward to do something big for the world or something to improve the world.
So let's talk about that. That's something else that
we
we get asked about a lot is how do you keep, okay, we talk to people in relationships, then we talked a little to people not in relationships, now we're back to people in relationships. How do you keep a relationship evolving, growing, gaining more, revealing more light over time?
We fight a lot.
Yeah. Well, no, like you're thinking, if you
help each other.
Yeah, but the closer you are, isn't it
what
paradox?
does that look like practically?
Yes.
I'm not helping you carry the groceries or picking up the dry cleaning for you. What does it mean to spiritually assist your
You're
partner?
speeding up the process. If you think about, the tikkun process, the soul correction process, right?
The
Cocoon process, yes.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So if you think about that process, the brighter the light, it's always been the paradox. The closer you are to people, they're the ones who bother you the most. Sometimes the people out on the street, they'll do nasty things and this and this. You'll deal with it and you kind of dismiss it. But the people who are close to you, family, loved ones, children, etc., you can't. So you're kind of forced to be there. If you look at it spiritually, as they say, the closer you are, the more invested you are, the more energy you have put into a relationship, the clearer it will be, the easier it will be to see what your tikkun is. It's like, when I used to do little theater as a teenager, you always put your makeup on in front of a mirror, your stage makeup, in front of a mirror that you could see you could see yourself very clearly, so you know how to put the makeup on if you had to make yourself look older, younger, whatever it was. So a close relationship is one that the light is so bright, it's easier and more rapid to see your own garbage. The issue is the faster you go, to be willing to have that discipline to say, no, it's not them. First and foremost, it's me. They are my mirror to see something about me. And the closer you are, the brighter it is. And that's why we tend to see more conflict or difficulties between closer people than the people who are further away. So if you're ready to go at that speed, you have the perfect opportunity. As you said before, use it as a vehicle for your spiritual growth.
It sounds very nice, but it's also very messy. Let's be very clear about this.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So
because you got to face
this is
the
another
ups and
question
downs.
we get all
messy,
the time.
yes. First
How
of-
do you deal
first of
with a conflict in your
I
relationship?
want to tell you something to people who are out there listening. Not every relationship is, the 1960s TV shows, father knows best and mom has got a
I like father knows
I know
best.
you do, honey.
That's what I tell my kids. Father knows best.
Exactly. That's another myth. No, just kidding. Anyway, so, these TV shows where everybody's happy and the hubby comes home and the wife, and she's like, she's got her best dress on, her pearls, and she's been so happy vacuuming, cleaning the house, baking all day, and all the kids are always well behaved. Believe me, whatever's going on in your relationship is perfect for the two of you. You don't have to necessarily be, not everybody, first of all, has their own unique soul correction. And these two souls come together and they're doing their correction together. So it's going to look messy. It's not going to always look pretty, by the way. I'll tell you what breaks a relationship is when two people egoically are convinced it's the other person. That you can sure know you're in for years of misery and separation, and eventually divorce, if you're not willing to move from that platform of it's definitely them. If they would just change, then everything will be okay. We've been there. We've done that. We know. It doesn't work. By the way, we're going into our, 28th year? 29th?
How many years? You forgot our anniversary?
It's timeless. It's time. I forget it every year, by the way.
We get younger every year. That's the problem.
We get younger. It's timeless. I'm just saying, and marriage.
It's 28 years, by the way, Blanetta.
well,
28.
in March it'll
28.
It'll be 28.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Okay.
Okay, whatever.
Just
Now
go
you
with
know who's the
28.
accountant at the
Yes,
Solomon
exactly.
House.
Yes, he takes
Yes.
care of all of that.
Okay.
Or was I? No, I'm just saying.
We've got.
I
that's
just
been
want
it
you
all.
to know, for those of you who are out there, I've speak to so many, counsel so many people, and I've been through it, and we've been through it ourselves. It's a struggle. It isn't always pretty. It doesn't mean that the relationship is bad or wrong or it can't work. It only means that this is what it looks like. That's all it means. Now, what are the basic ingredients you need? First of all, you need to know why you're getting married. You know, what brings the two of you together? Are you 100% certain in the seed of that relationship in the first place? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to work through your struggles together? That's a big one. You know, for us, I knew for me when I said it all my life. When I get married, that's it. It's going to be that one time and whatever. That's not true for everyone. That's just particularly for me. You know, and there were times where I questioned that. Oh no. But if you're able to break through those very, very difficult moments where you're 100% sure it's them, I'm perfect, and it's all him. If you can break through that and that's what the pain and the suffering of the relationship is all about. We talked about that in another broadcast. It's not them, it's me. What do I have to change in me in order to be a better partner? What do I have to change in me in order to, what is this pain about anyway? Why am I suffering so much? Where's my ego in all of this? And that's a process. By the way, love, I just wrote an article about that recently in Kabbalah.com in the central column that I write. I wrote an article, love is a choice. People are waiting to fall in love. I don't know what love feels like. Somebody once told me, I said, well, love is a choice. I'm choosing to invest in this relationship. I'm choosing right now, I can't stand that person. I don't even want to love. And at the same time, I'm loving them while I'm really not happy with them in the moment. You know, I'm choosing to hang in there. I'm choosing to work it through. I'm choosing to find the light and the lesson not in it for me so that I can be there for my partner as well. And then there was
Speechless.
silence.
Okay.
No,
No, just to go on.
Also, men and women have different roles to play.
Right.
We have to bring that fact.
No, we're not going to get to it. We
No.
threatened to talk about it in like every other show.
Well, invite us back. We'll
But-
talk
and
about that.
David says, who wants to hear about the role of men and the role of women? And everybody says, me. I'm sure they're saying it now, and we just never get to it.
I'll just put it very simply. You know, a woman is 99% responsible for the relationship. I know women don't want to hear it. I never wanted to hear that. And you know, once a man puts his trust in a woman, it's all over. If he doesn't pick the right woman, it's going to be one rocky road. And then what I mean by the right woman is a spiritual woman. And what do I mean by a spiritual woman? You have two kinds of women. And by the way, we've raised our sons this way. And I'm telling you what we've raised our children, and that, you know, I used to say to my kids growing up, you know, when they're like in the young teenage years, and I said, listen, you're all gorgeous, you're all, you know, great family, and women are going to throw themselves at you. Oh, Ema, what? Don't talk like that. Well, listen, you got to hear it. They're going to throw themselves. And there's two kinds of women. There's the woman who really is invested in herself, and she wants the best for you. And then there's the needy woman. Run away from the needy woman. The needy woman just wants you to fill her emptiness. It's impossible. It'll never happen, and she's very destructive. So I'm not here to bash women. You noticed I'm one myself. It's about taking responsibility for our power, how much power we have in the relationship. A woman who gives her power away in the relationship, by the way, is asking for trouble. He doesn't want that power. He's going to hate you for it. He's going to mistreat you because you're not doing your job. Same thing. So what is a woman's job? To help the man improve, become more spiritual, be a better human being, to stretch himself, to do more than he would on his own. And that's sometimes going to hurt on both sides, right? It's sometimes going to be really uncomfortable. We talked about stuff like that. And because you love him and you're investing in him and you see his potential and you want the best for him, and that means he's got to strive because he loves you and he wants to make you happy. He wants you to trust him. I mean, those are ideal dynamics in a relationship. But if a woman is so busy, do you love me? Why are you going with them? What can I do to please you? She's not really thinking about him. Who's she thinking about? Herself. And that's destructive. We can only share as much as we're invested in ourselves and channeling our creator energy. So it goes back again to that. Who am I? How can I help him if I don't even know who I am? How can I give him an opportunity to share with me if I don't even know why am I doing it? And why are we even bringing children into the world? There's so many ways to go with that conversation. I don't want to take you off topic.
No. I don't even remember what I wanted to ask in the first place, but Chaim wanted to say something.
Well, no, I was just thinking because I'm sure a number of the people who are listening or viewing, have gone through divorce or separation or whatever. There is also, in Kabbalistic terms, there's a spiritual reason for divorce.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
why it was allowed.
That's why I said
but
for me.
It has to be that the light, the whole point is that if the light is guiding the relationship and people are growing together through a relationship, then if the light sees that those two people are no longer meant to be together, then there is the divorce that they can go their separate ways. But those kind of divorces, you'll see, they're very peaceful, they're harmonious. In essence, both sides are understanding the power of it and that it's for the good. I'm not saying to make it just easy as an excuse or justification, but to also understand that there are times that the light will show that, we got together with our tikkun, with whatever the negativity, because our tikkun, our soul correction, was very similar. We grew out of that, but then as we grew out of it, we realized, no, my soul has to go this way and their soul has to go that way.
Well, they had their soul correction. They did whatever they needed to do together.
Exactly.
Maybe they just came together to bring those souls to the world, have those children or that one child.
Or just that relationship.
It was just for that purpose.
Yes.
But they'll know it. They'll know it's complete.
Because it comes from the light. That's the key.
Yeah.
You have to have the light in the relationship. Otherwise, it's going to be one divorce after another, one relationship after another, repeating the same mistakes and not learning from it.
Well, one question that we get a lot in different, it may come from the class about the show about sharing. It may come from the class about ego. It may come, but it always comes up is if you're not in a relationship, but you do want one, how do you balance wanting that relationship, making an effort to find the right person, and also knowing the right person's going to come along, right? We teach that you have to take action, but you also have to know that it's going to be the right person's going to come along. It'll be the right place, the right time. I think it's confusing in modern times where there is that. Are you going to the right clubs? Are you on the right apps? Does your dentist know you're looking? Like those kind of things.
Yeah, I remember our teacher of Berg, once, in one of his studies, the 10 luminous emanation studies, talked about why, the way they were up, but it's almost a waste of time to go to these club meeting places, because if a person is doing their spiritual work and they're ready now, it's all about preparing the vessel, preparing our desire for being in that right relationship. Imagine a person who's needy. Like you say, people are single. You got to check within yourself. Needy, 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 needy. You think it's going to be a blessing to find another needy person? That's because that's the only person you're going to be able to attract, because like attracts like. So two needy people get together. That could be a disaster. It's a blessing that they be single until they hear this podcast and say, wait a second, I don't want to be needy anymore. I want to be whole, feel whole. So what do I do about that? And the answer is share, be busy, dedicating your life to the greater good that adds value to other people's lives. This, by having a passion in that, by having a vision in that, now you have a reason to have a partner. Otherwise, what reason would you have had to have a partner? Why? So the two of you could sit and look at the TV and let the remote go on, and just sit there on autopilot on the sofa? That's why you should have a partner. What are you going to do with your partner? If you already have a great desire to do great things, then the universe will want to give you a partner and want to speed up that process for you. But if you're going to it's like somebody who, I want to make a lot of money. Well, why do you want to make a lot of money? Well, because I just want to hoard it in the bank. Well, is there blessing in that? And the answer is no. That's going to come with a lot of side effects, and it probably won't even last. But if you say, well, the money is a means to a greater end.
Sounds like a prosperity principles class.
Yes, well, you know me, I'm the prosperity principles person, right? But if the person wants to, it's this. You know what? It's the same. It's the same system with a different application, but it really all the same, right? If I'm going to use my God-given talents and skills and time on earth and abilities, and I'm going to use it for the sake of sharing, so I can add value to other people's lives, then I'm in a position to receive all the abundance of the universe, the best relationship. Not any relationship. You got to be very careful what you ask for. Don't ask for any relationship because God forbid you'll get one. Ask for your best relationship. Ask that you'll be with your soulmate. Ask that you're that person who will bring out the best in you and you'll bring out the best in them, and it'll be a wonderful, abundant relationship. And don't settle. The universe will test you. Believe me, the universe will definitely test you. Whenever you want something and you really want it, and it is for the greater good, and it does help people, not just yourself, and it will have an impact, you know that you're going to be tested. I'm telling you now, forewarned is forearmed. And how will you be tested? The universe will suddenly show you someone or something or situation that will offer security, but it doesn't feel like, it's not it. That's not the one. Close. It's good enough.
Have a good time together.
You have a good time. That happened to me. I came this close to throwing in the towel to marry someone I knew deep in my heart he wasn't the one. That was the week I came to the Kabbalah Center. Can you believe that? That was actually, and I think it's mind-blowing it's mind-blowing me now. I just realized that was the week before I came to the Kabbalah Center. That was 2 weeks before I met Chaim. The same week I came to the Kabbalah Center, Chaim came to New York. And the following week, my first teacher in Kabbalah 1 was Karen Berg. Karen gave that class. Someone had left. One of the teachers had left. Karen was substituting. And they came back the second week, and then Chaim took over the class. And the person I was in a relationship with, I told him, I started taking classes at the Kabbalah Center. The most unspiritual man you ever want to meet. I mean, like, boggles my mind that I would even consider. But you know why I almost threw in the towel? Because my mother was relentless. She loved him. She was relentless. You got to marry him. Oh my God, throwing every trick of the opponent force at me. You don't know. You'll never find someone else. He's going to bet. You better do this now. All of this, and we all get bombarded with that. And those are the tests. I'm sure so many people listening right now are going, yeah, that happened to me too. You're right. I got married, and I didn't really marry that person for the right reasons. I married them out of fear. I married them out of need, et cetera, and so forth. Don't worry. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Even if you did do that, and you're hearing this now, and it is sparking something in you, you can turn it around exactly where you are right here, right now. How? By taking an inventory of yourself in your life. What are your loves? What are your passions? What are your choices? Take that inventory in your life and say, how can I be a better human being? And then apply that result of you working on you to that person, because you never know. That person you're married to, that the relationship is going like, can be shifted into a whole new relationship. You don't have to necessarily get divorced and get married. Again, if the universe put that person in your movie, there's a reason. You have work to do together. So I'm just telling you that our relationship is not like, kissy, lovey-dovey. We're not that kind. We're just not that kind of people. But our love gets my love for you. I won't speak for you, but you better answer. I know what's good for you. I was just kidding.
You better agree, honey.
Yeah.
No, I realized over the
dear.
years, 28 years, it doesn't feel like 28 years. It really doesn't.
I can't believe it's 28
I can't
years.
believe it's 28 years. It's just like yesterday. You make that eye contact, that soul-to-soul connection, and there it is. It's timeless.
Time
the love
stands still.
It does. The love grows. I don't know what I could have possibly done, and I say this, I just said it this morning. I don't know what I could have possibly done to be so blessed. It's truly, a blessing to be able to do that. And at the same time, you got to work for it. It's not coming for free.
Just to go back to that point that Elisheva made before
Are you going to
this.
say something about the point about your love for me?
Yes, I love you more and more every day.
Okay, good.
You saw it here first.
You
Yes,
saw it here
you saw it
first.
here
Energy
first.
boost.
No pressure. Did you
Right.
notice? No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. No, when you're saying, do you work for it or do you just let it come to you? So you hear people every now and then, they'll say things like, what will be, will be. Just what will be, which usually I've now come to understand means I don't want to do anything about it, and what's going to be is going to be. But if we understand the law of cause and effect, like attracts like, then as we grow, what was going to be is now better than it was. If a person stays where they are, then yeah, sure, what will be, right? Put your car in gear, get on the street, push the gas, let go of the steering wheel. What will be, right?
Be an
Well,
accident.
what the heck, it's going to be. Yes, but when you take control over the steering wheel and you turn it where it's going, then no longer will the what be will be is hitting the wall or running into the fence post, but it's taking it where you want to go. So it's, as we say in Kabbalah, it's both. it's, yes, law of attraction will bring us according to us. But as we grow spiritually, then we're getting the better and the better because we're the better and the better.
That's a perfect introduction. Perfect segue. We want, this week we have this amazing energy that gives us the glue that we need to grow our connection, our closeness, not only with the Creator, but with the people in our lives or future people in our lives. This week also has within it, on Wednesday, we have the new moon of Pisces. And Pisces, it's funny that David, who is also a Pisces, isn't here today because he definitely falls on the Aquarius end of the spectrum of Pisces. I would consider myself a more full-fledged Pisces. And
we were married in Pisces.
Well, happy anniversary in about a week or so. Yeah, a week. Yeah. So a week from Wednesday, right?
That's right.
Right. So Pisces tend to be those people that put their hands on the gas very gently, of course, and let go of the wheel. We'll see what happens, or it's not in my control, or let go and let God, right? Like the very sort of, I don't want to make the effort, or I don't want to take responsibility for putting in the effort. So one of the things we always talk about when we have the new moon coming up is a little bit about the month, and we'll talk about that as we get into the weeks as well. But it's really important from Tuesday night to Wednesday night. I mean, when people say, well, what should I do on the new moon? What are some best practices for planting good seeds on the new moon?
Well, again, if like attracts like, you have an opening in the cosmos. The idea is to do as many things of transformation, sharing more, loving more, being more kind, more generous, more humble, because you're setting the pattern for the whole month. So it's like you're working hard in the 25 hours in order to reap the rewards for the next 29 days.
Right.
Pisces.
So the more you share in any opening like that new moon, the more you're going to get for the month. Now, whatever extra you do the rest of the month, it's enhancing it that much more. So you're working one day and gaining 30 days worth of benefit, or you can work
upon which you can build even more.
Continue to grow. Exactly.
What about, Batya, what do you love about the month of Pisces? What can we look forward to?
Well, Pisceans are very intuitive
Feel free to hit
people.
me.
Purim.
Purim. I was going to say, when the saying
Save that
goes,
for 2 weeks from now.
when the month of Pisces comes in, happiness enters with it. So it's our opportunity to really connect to happiness. And happiness, what brings joy and happiness? Sharing.
Well, I would, as a recovering non-spiritual Pisces, I would say one thing to remember this month is that happiness is a verb.
Yes,
It
I
is
love
not.
It's
A lot of us sit there and say, well, when I get married, I'll be happy. Or when I have a family, I'll be happy. Or when I get promoted, I'll be happy.
That's right.
Rather the opposite. You can be in any situation and be the source of your own fulfillment.
You be the happy. Yeah.
And that's a very hard lesson to learn when we are, looking for a reward or looking for relief, right?
Or a relationship.
It's really, for me, it was one of the, I think, best moments of my life to realize I don't have to wait for anyone or anything to be happy.
Exactly.
And knowing that I can create my reality. And again, this is coming from the horse's mouth. This year,
the fish's
mouth. This month, you may see an illusion of dependence on a thing or a person or a situation that may or may not come into fruition. The message of this month is don't wait, right? With the whole story of Purim, it's don't wait.
Compromise.
You have to create it.
Right.
You have to create your reality, and you won't always be the most popular person. You won't always be the most comfortable person, but it's worth it. The effort is completely worth it. And we'll talk over the next few weeks about other opportunities that come up during the month to tap into that extra energy. Batya and Chaim's anniversary will be one of them. But, we have a minute and a half left. What parting words for our listeners? No?
Parting words for our listeners.
Parting words. Well, you're in the new moon.
Yes.
You've been listening to relationships. Remember, it's not only significant other, it's every person you meet you're in a relationship with. Use that relationship as an opportunity to grow. Hold the door open for somebody. Smile at somebody. Make their day.
Kindness.
Go outside of your comfort zone to exert a little more happiness, joy. As Elisheva said, be happy. If you exert the happiness, it will come to you. because you're already making yourself happy just by sharing
Not
it.
because they'll owe you next time,
Right.
and not because
Right.
you want to be a good person.
Well, you choose to be happy because when you're choosing to be happy and sharing your happiness with others, who's the first to benefit from it anyway?
yeah.
You are. So be happy.
Be happy.
Don't worry. Be happy.
Be happy, share the show, tag your friends in the
Yes.
comments. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, CastBox, and Stitcher.
You can find Chaim at
You can find Batya. Let's start with Batya. You can find Batya on Kabbalah.com, both live teaching, talking, and animated, and also in the written word. Batya has a weekly course called Prosperity Principles. She is the prosperity guru. She also has a blog called The Central Column that you can find on Kabbalah.com.
I run very high energy workshops, prosperity workshops called Relationship Rehab with Money.
Wow, I did not know
Yes,
that.
yes,
Looking forward to
yes.
hearing more about that.
Yes.
And Chaim is world renowned for his spiritual Sunday program service. What do you call it? It's every Sunday
Program.
at 10
I
a.m.
like that.
Eastern.
Yeah.
10 a.m.
No,
Eastern.
No, 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Eastern. So you can tune in on Kabbalah.com. He also posts some videos on Facebook that I see all the time.
Spiritual Sunday on
Spiritual
Facebook. yeah.
Sunday on Facebook is a great way to learn more about Kabbalah and Chaim, of course, and maybe even Chaim and Batya. Anyway, thank you guys for joining
Thank
us.
you
It's
for having
always
us.
a
Thank you for
pleasure,
having us.
and
Yes,
we'll see you
definitely a
next
pleasure.
time on the Weekly Energy
Bye.
Boost.
Bye.